Hello everyone. So in this lectures we will going to read about infrastructure as a code. So this lecture will going to be very interesting. So first things I really encourage you to please go through about the infrastructures as a code, just a overview. No need to learn about yourself about how to achieve these things and what is the different way we have and what type of languages we have and tools. No need to learn about all these things because I will going to demonstrate the same things by using a Terraform. There is another way also. So for AWS you can use the cloud formations, and Terraform is like a very good because it is not depends on any cloud provider. So by using Terraform we can write a script for targeting a multiple cloud providers. So what is like a infrastructures as a code? So in starting days, if you see, if I want to deploy my application, so I need to create a infrastructures. So just take the very small examples, right? So I just want to have a EC2 machine for computing machine. So this is just a Linux based machine. So I am just explaining very specific to the AWS. So I need a one machines where I can run my applications, right? So I need to go to the AWS console, so where I can create this EC2 machines, right? And by just creating this EC2 machine, after that I can deploy my applications on this EC2 machines by connecting this EC2 machines by SSH commands, or there is other way also, right? And by using this security groups I can decide what type of traffic I want to allow to connect with my EC2 machines, and at particular host on which my application is running. Sorry, not host, it's a port. So this type of thing I want to achieve. So without the infrastructure as a code, I need to create each and everything manually, right? So when I will going to target another cloud, right? So at that times these things will going to be very difficult. So every time I need to do the same things again and again manually. So just think example of this. So I want to create a new environment, right? So usually when we work in any companies or any projects, right? So we will always going to have a different type of environments: dev environments, test environment, staging, QA environments, and after that we will going to have a production environment. So generally all the environment config will going to be very similar. The only difference we will only going to have the computation levels, right? On production environment we will going to have a very high computation machines, and lower environment we will going to have a very low computations machine. This is the only difference we generally have. There is other differences also, but basically if we see at the general level, whole infrastructure will going to be same. So how we can achieve the same things, right? By doing this work manually, it will always going to give us the problem, because when human will going to interact, there is a very high chances of the errors also. So there is a way. Terraform is a very good tools. By using this Terraform we can define our resources, and we can define our whole infrastructures, right? And this Terraform will going to be comes with a different type of providers. So I will explain each and everything in a detail. So let's start with the Terraform. So now you got the point, right? What is the infrastructure as a code? And we will going to use the Terraform, because Terraform is cloud agnostic, because it will not going to target only one cloud providers. We can have a Terraform script for multiple cloud providers, and we will learn about these things also later point of the time. So first we will going to learn very simple example how to create the EC2 machines, and how to create a security group for that our EC2 machine, and attaching the security group to the EC2 machine, and just deploying a very small application. So we will not going to deploy any applications. It will going to just like a index.html, and we will just going to serve via the default HTTP server. So let's start with this. So first things you need to do. So if you have any if you have like credentials for AWS, I really encourage you to please log into your AWS accounts. And you are watching this Terraform and infrastructures as a code. I am hoping you are already aware about whatever I have explained, right? So first things you need to do. So here you need to open IAM role. So inside the IAM, so you need to create one user, and you need to provide that users administrator levels of access, right? So here if you see I have a user, just ignore all these things. You will not going to have this type of issue because I am running this AWS accounts in sandbox environment, so that's why it has some limitation. You can just ignore all these things, you will not going to have. You can create one users by clicking on this create users, and you can assign this that users administrator level of access in starting, right? And if you go here, so if you go here, you will going to see here like security credentials, right? I am not able to see here, but you will going to have generate security. Let me do that. So let's create a one user. I will show you from scratch. So let's name this as Terraform user. So after creating this users, let's create it. So I have created this user, so I need to open this user. So when you open this user, so here I can click on this add permissions. So let's click on this. So here I will going to click on this add attach policy directly, right? And here I can have this administrator access, right? So when you type, if you are not able to see, when you type like administrator access, so you will going to have this option at the top. So you need to select this administration access, and after that you need to click on the next. So once this user is created with the required permissions, so after that when you click on this security group, right? So inside this security group you will going to have this option access key. By clicking on this create access key, it will going to give you the one pop-up. So when I create this, let's click this and next. So here if you see, you will going to have a access key and you will going to have a secret access key. You don't need to use mine because I will going to delete after this lecture, right? So you can copy these secret key, and after that what you need to do, you need to create two variable. One will going to have this key name AWS underscore access underscore key underscore ID. You need to assign here access key. So if you see here this one, you need to assign here, and for the secret key you need to click on this and you need to assign here. And after assigning this, just copy this whole both the environment variable, you need to just paste it here and run. So it will going to create the environment variable by these two names, right? And whenever we will going to run our Terraform script, by default Terraform will going to look for these two environment variable for to authenticate to your AWS environment, right? So you need to make sure you have these two environment variable. And after that, let's move further. So I hope you got the idea about this here. So after that you need to install the Terraform. So you need to open this install Terraform page. So here if you see, there is many way of installing the Terraform. If you are watching on OS, any Apple based OS, or if you are watching on Windows and Linux, right? So on Apple machines you can do one thing, you can use the homebrew. It is the best way, right? You just need to run these two commands. After that you will able to run this command terraform hyphen help. So when you run this command, if you see this type of message, then it means Terraform is installed in your machine. And if you are watching on Windows, I really encourage you to use Chocolatey, and you just need to run this command, and after that you can verify by running this Terraform help command. So this is things you need to do before starting these lectures. I hope you did each and everything, and after that we can start. So let's start with EC2. We need to create the EC2, and this EC2 will going to be belong to the AWS. So here we are just targeting the AWS, right? So let's start with AWS. So first we need to create, let's create a chapter 1. I will going to give many examples. So here we are starting with a very basic example. So just starting EC2 machine. So you need to go inside this directory chapter 1, and inside this chapter 1 let's create one file and name this as main.tf. So this is the Terraform extension. So if you see, I have these icons. If you don't have these icons, so inside the BS code you can install this Terraform extension, right? It's very easy. Just after installing this Terraform, you will able to have this highlight and everything related to all the support related to this Terraform. So first things, we need to define a provider. So we will going to use the provider AWS. So provider is like a cloud platform. Which cloud provider we are going to use? So we are developing our infrastructure against the AWS. So cloud provider will going to be AWS. So here we need to define the reason. So if you are I hope you already aware about the AWS. So in AWS we have a concept of a region. So you need to define here region. So for example, in my case I will going to use like a US hyphen east hyphen 1. So you can have a region based on your location. So this is you can just ignore these things, you can just follow with me, because the target of this lecture is not to teach the AWS. So we will just going to understand the Terraform. And most probably you are already aware about these things if you are watching this lecture. And after that we need to create a resources. So in Terraform, just by defining this provider AWS, and here we need to define the regions. So if I run this command Terraform init, right? So this Terraform init will going to download all the libraries and everything related to this provider AWS. So let's run this. Sorry, it's a spelling mistake. My keyboard is not like working properly, so just excuse this. So when you run this Terraform init, so it will going to take some time for downloading everything related to the Terraform. If you see this console, it is clearly mentioning here HashiCorp / AWS, and this version it will going to be download. So let's wait for this. So it's got downloaded. So now if you see here, you will going to have .terraform file and this .terraform log file. So in this log file, it is just mentioning all the hash and everything. So there is nothing you need to worry, and please avoid editing this file. So inside .terraform, you will going to see it will going to have a AWS provider related stuff, right? And this stuff is only related to the Terraform library. So whenever we will going to run a Terraform, so it will going to take the help of this provider which we have downloaded, right? You don't need to worry about this thing. It's just like a auto generated every time. So if you are seeing this thing, so it is like everything is like set up in your machine, and after that we are very good to create the resources. So now Terraform has a concept of a resources. So whenever we will going to create any resources, the format will going to have like a resources, and after that we need to define the name of that resources. So ideally, so whenever we will going to have any resources, the format Terraform is using AWS provider name underscore resources name, and after that we need to define the name of that resources. So if you see here, so there is a plenty of resources we have. So we can use any resources whatever we are targeting. So here we will going to use the instance. Okay, so this is the instance which is related to the EC2 machine, right? So this is Terraform like a mapping. So whenever we will going to use AWS underscore instance, it means EC2 machine, and here we need to define our EC2 machine's name. So here we can define like a EC2 example. Okay, and please make sure like it will always going to relate it to your domain. Whatever the application you are targeting, you just use the same convention. Like when someone will going to read it, they will going to get the idea, yeah, on this EC2 machine we are hosting this thing. So for this EC2 machine we need to define some other properties also. So AMI. So AMI, you already know about this AMI is the image. So what image we will going to run on this ec2 machines by default, because whenever we will going to start the ec2 machine, it will going to have a linux based or something else, right? So this image will be need to define. So we need to find out this aws ami from the aws console. So I am going to use this, I already have handy. And later point of a time we will see how to get the image from directly from the aws instead of like a hard coding. So it is not good practice to hard code, but here we are learning, right? Here we are learning, so just please ignore this thing, later we will see. So this is the ami I will going to use. And after that we need to decide, define the instance type, what type of instance type we will going to use. So I will going to use like a t2 dot micro. And after that we need to define a security group id. So security group id is related to the exposing our ec2 machine to the outside of world, how our ec2 machine will going to be interact. I will do that later. And after that I need to define tags. So here this is like a tag, it is optional thing. So here I can just create any tag key and value. So here I can have a key name. You can have anything. So here I'm just creating name. So terraform ec2 example. Okay, and this is all. So now if I run my terraform command, so it will going to create this aws instance. So here I have not attached any security group, I have not attached anything to this. So this will going to just create the aws instance, and later we will see how to add security groups and other things. So let's start with this. So it is like warming up with the terraform. So first things, we need to have a command terraform plan. So when I run this command, so again spelling mistake. So when I run this command, so it will going to be it will going to check everything my config, and it is like a valid or not. So now if you see here, our config is valid, so that's why it is displaying like this. So if you see here, it is saying it will going to create this things, right? This resource aws instance, and this will going to be the values and everything. And here it is telling us it will going to add 1, and it will going to update 0, and it will going to destroy 0. It just going to add 1 resource. So if everything looks good, then we can run a command terraform apply. Let's run this. It will going to ask us the value. If everything is looking good, just we need to pass yes. Let's pass. So now it is creating the aws ec2 machine on aws instance. So now if you see here, it just created this terraform tf state, terraform lock info. I will going to explain these files also, but one thing is here, you need, whenever you will going to post your changes on the github, please exclude these things, terraform ts state and terraform ts lock info, because it is very sensitive because it will going to contain the secrets and everything. Whenever we will going to have any secrets and in terraform file, even we are going to pass secrets from environment variable, still it will going to create those values in a plain text. So I really it is like it will not going to be part of our source, right? So please always exclude these files. I will in the next lectures I will going to tell you what is the best practices and where we will going to store these things, and what is the use of these two files, because these two files is very crucial for terraform. So now if you see, it is successfully completed. So now if we open our yeah, so now if we open, let me put it, yeah, just 1 minute, yeah. So now if I open EC2, so let's open EC2, let's go inside EC2. So now if you see, I have one instance which is running. If I open this, yeah. So now here if you see it, we are able to run one EC2 instance with the Terraform. It is if you are following with me, so it like a very happy moments and feeling like we are able to run. My system is like hanging. Just give me a 1 minute. So now if you see, we have everything whatever we have defined. So here we can see this inside the tag. If you click, so here you can see the names and the value is Terraform EC2 example. So generally like in the key, we should always we should always have a one key which will going to tell us what is the source of this creation of source of this EC2 machine. Like we are creating using the Terraform, so we should always define like a Terraform. And when we are creating some resources, so we should define like manually is like a true. We have created this resource to manually, so someone in futures look that resource, they will get the idea, yeah, this resource is getting create manually, so we need to automate this. So now if you see, like we are able to create the resources. So now let's go back to our code. And this all the commands of Terraform is like idempotent. Like if I run this again, so it will not going to have any effect. If I run this Terraform apply again, it will not going to have any effect. So let's see. If you see, there is no change. It is saying zero added, zero change. So how this command is know about the status of AWS? So for knowing the status of AWS, these are the two files this Terraform will going to be used. So inside is this Terraform TF file. If you see here, everything is mentioned related to our resources. Whatever we will going to create, it will going to update this Terraform TF state. Please refrain yourself to update this file because it is maintained by the Terraform. And in this file, it even if you, when you going to create any database or any things, and if you define initial data credentials and everything, even if you pass those values from an environment variable, still it will going to define here in a plain text. So always exclude these TF files and this TF file from your source control. So later point of a time, I will tell you what is the ideal place to store this Terraform TF file, because this is very critical, right? And it can be a big security concern if you push this as a part of our source control. So no need to push this in repo. I am repeating this many time, but remember that. So here, as we are learning Terraform, so it's good to know everything. So how to destroy the EC2? So it will going to be very easy. We have this command Terraform destroy. We just need to run this Terraform destroy. If you are getting like I'm just repeating again and again, so I'm just making sure, like if you are completely new, you will get feeling about these commands. Yeah, you are getting familiar and you will have more confidence. If you are trying with me, then it will definitely going to boost your confidence. We need to type yes and it will going to remove. So if you see here, it is saying one to destroy, so it will going to run this. Let's wait for this. Yeah. So here if you see, we have destroyed our resource successfully. So now if we see on AWS, let's close it. And if we refresh, so now if you see state, it is terminated. So I hope it's clear for you. So if you see this thing in working, like creating the resources and destroying the resources, it is just like running the one commands, and everything will going to be up and everything will going to be done. So you don't need to worry about like when we learn AWS, so we always worry about we always worry about in case like we forgot to clean up anything, so it will going to charge you, right? So with Terraform you don't need to worry. Just refrain yourself creating manually anything. Just create each and everything with Terraform. With only one command you will able to clean up each and everything. So I hope now you are realizing the power of Terraform. So now let's complete this our example. So let's go back here. So now let's define the EC2, sorry, AWS Security Group. So basically, what is AWS Security Group? So in a simple language, I am explaining. We have a EC2 machine. So this EC2 machine will not going to expose each and anything from the outside world. So we need to define how outside incoming and outgoing traffic we will going to handle for this EC2 machine. So that incoming and outgoing traffic we can define by using the security group. By defining this security group, first we need to define security group, and after that we need to attach this security group to this EC2 machine. So let's do that. So let's come here, and after that we need to create again one resource. Whenever we will going to define any resource, always remember the syntax of this is first we need to define resource, and after that AWS, we are using AWS underscore, and here we need to search for security group. Here we can define anything like security group. This is my security group example. So inside the security group, let's define the name. So name will we can have like anything. So I am just typing this Terraform example. So in security group, we will going to have two things, ingress and egress, for incoming and outgoing, right? So let's define the ingress. So inside the ingress, we will going to have from which port we will going to allow traffic. So let's hardcode this 80. Later we will see how to remove these things in variable. And to port, again it will going to be 80. And protocol, we will going to use the TCP and CIDR block, from which ports IP address we will going to allow the traffics, and we will going to send the traffic. So we will going to have all. So for defining the all, this is the syntax. You can define like this. So it will going to select everything, all IP addresses. So after that we need to define egress. So inside the egress you need to define same port. We will going to have 0, and to port we will going to have 0, right? And we will going to have the protocol. Here you need to define like -1, and even we don't need to define it because by default it's already there, but let's have it. And here we need to define the same things, 0.0.0.0. I am not explaining, I am hoping related to AWS stuff you are already aware about this thing. So this is how we can define the security group. And after defining this security group, we need to attach these security groups to our EC2 instance. So it's very easy. So here we need to define like a BPC security group, and here you can define. And how we will going to get the value of this security groups, the syntax we will going to use like this. So first we need to take this resource type. So here we need to define resource type dot, and after that we need to take the name of our resource type. In our case is sg hyphen example. Even it is giving us, you can select it. So here if you see, first we need to take the resource type. Right? After that dot, after that you need to write the name of your resource, and after that you need to define id. We have many things, ARN, id, name, so it will going to vary resource to resource. So in this case we need to use id. So now we have attached a security group. and let's define user data. So user data is like a very simple thing, like when we going to start our ec2 machine, so initially we want to attach some user data to our ec2 machine, we can use this user data. So I will going to define one script here. So for defining the script, this is the syntax. So you can just copy paste the same thing. So this is the script. With this script we are just installing one http servers, and we are just defining these things as index file. If you see, we are just echoing this, we are just copying this inside the index.html. When this http server will going to be run, when we going to hit this http server on 80 port, it will by default going to serve this index.html. And inside this index.html we are writing this is all. And now one more things we need to do after defining user data, right? Whenever we will going to change this user data, we want to change this inside the ec2 machine. So replicating the all the following update, we need to enable this flag. There is a one user hyphen data dot replace on change, so it will going to be true. So we need to define these things. So this is like whenever we will going to update our users data, so it will going to create the new instance, so that our user data will going to reflect. So now let's run our command. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So now let's run this. First we need to run validate. So when I going to run this terraform validate, it will going to validate my whole script, so it is good. And after that I can run plan, so it will going to tell me what changes will going to be part of this command. If I run terraform apply, so it is here telling me two resource will going to be add, and these are the two resources. So it's good. And one more things also, when we run this terraform apply, right? So terraform will apply will for the efficiency, it will going to create a one di graph, dependency graph. And via dependency graph, it will going to parallel as many as resource creation. So we can visualize these things also. So I can use like terraform graph, and when I run this, it will going to generate one di graph, dependency graph. So here if you see, it generated this dependency. Just 1 minute. Yeah. So this is the di graph it generated. So let's copy this di graph. So there is one. So just 1 minute. There is like there is many online tool, but this is very good online tool, graph based online. You need to open this tool. So here let's remove everything and paste this. So now if you see here, it will going to be here you can visualize. So if you see here, it will first going to create a issue instance, and after that it will going to create a AWS security group, and it will going to attach. So this is very good tool for visualizing each and everything. For now we have just two resources, that why it's looking very simple. But in moving forward, when we're going to create auto scaling groups and ECS and EQS, at that time you will understand the power of these things for just visualizing the infrastructures. It's a very good. So now let's move our code base. So here we have each and everything. So we just need to run our terraform apply. Let's run this. Let's type this yes. It will going to take some time for applying our changes. It is first things, it will going to compare the initial state by using this terraform tf state, and it will going to uh, it will going to see what the new change we are going to apply, and it will going to display, yeah, this is the new change we want to apply, and it will going to be apply on the AWS. And in next lectures I will going to tell how to secure this TF state and this backup file. Please don't include these two files as resource source tracking. Please make sure these two files should not be like a version control. Yeah, so it's successfully completed. So now we can go back on AWS. Let's go back. So now if you refresh this, so here if you see we have this one instance, it is initializing. So now let's select this. So now let's copy this EC2 public address. So if I enter this and hit, let's wait for this. So now if you see our application is running and we are able to see this message which is coming from the EC2. So I hope you like this. It is very simple. So as part of these lectures, we have learned what is Terraform and what is the best practices of this Terraform. Till now, we just see only few things about the best practices like variables, maintaining an output, Terraform file, TF war files, everything, and what is modules. I will going to explain each and everything as part of this series. So here we just learn how to create a very simple resource using the Terraform, and what is the providers and how to maintain this, and how here if you see inside the script we have not added any secrets or anything. We have just outsourced and we are just getting from the environment variable. When you're going to run this on CI, you just need to export those two variables, right? And here if you see, for these two files I will going to explain in the next lectures where to store, what is the best practices for these things. There is so many things we need to discuss. What will going to be happen, like two people will going to run the same times, and how to acquire the lock on Terraform, how to run one at a time, and how to resolve the conflict, and how to store this Terraform states on the SW, and what is the backend. I will going to explain each and everything. I hope you like this, and I really encourage you. So if you are completely new, please follow this along with me. So once you create the resources after the every lectures, don't forget to destroy. You just need to run this command, and this command will going to clean up each and everything. We just created manually one IAM user. If you want to delete that manually, you can do that. So that is the only thing we have created manually, IAM users, and it will going to clean both the security group and EC2 instance. Let's wait for it. I hope you like the lectures, and the next lectures I will going to be create on Terraform ASG auto scaling group, how to create one auto scaling group, and inside that how to define EC2s and how to attach the load balancers. These things I will going to define, and after these lectures I will going to pick the ECS, how to create a ECS cluster, and how to run the Docker based applications. And following lecture will going to be very interesting. I hope you like these lectures, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you.